The time has come for humanity itself to establish, to reassert itself as human beings. And I think that the benefit that the Indigenous Peoples Movement brings to this cause, which is the cause of all human beings, is the perspective and the culture and the tradition and the knowledge and the wisdom that comes from being the inheritors and the descendants and the practitioners of the original ways of life of the original human beings that walk this planet, this sacred Mother Earth. And for that reason, as being caretakers of the originations of humanity, the seed of humanity, when we first learned how to treat each other as brothers and sisters, as relatives of the same human family. Worldwide, the indigenous cultures worldwide have that. For that reason, within our culture and within this movement that's here at Bear Butte as one of expressions, we hold a key to the survival, to the destiny of humanity itself for that very simple, basic reason.
Around the late 1800s, our ancestors came onto what they call reservations. After decades of war making with the United States, generations of war making with the United States, our people came in with 2 items, and it astounds me to think of how they protected those items for decades. How did they carry them? How did they protect them? How many people died protecting those items so that we still have them today? Our people came in with our sacred pipe, our sacred white buffalo calf pipe that we still have. They came in with a map done on a hide. That map shows star constellations that have a direct correspondence to places on Earth. It's a philosophy called sacred above is sacred below. When the sun rises through a certain star constellation, our people have to be at the corresponding location on Earth to do a certain ceremony, because our Creator is doing that ceremony in the Star Nation. And we're obligated and privileged to do that same ceremony here on Mother Earth. Bear Butte is one of those places on Earth that has a corresponding relationship to a constellation in the stars. It's our duty and our privilege to defend Bear Butte. It's our duty and our privilege to defend all of these places from desecration. When I think of what our ancestors went through to protect that sacred pipe and to protect that map, so that we would have it today. I can't even begin to imagine what they went through, fighting the 7th Cavalry, running, hiding, making war over literally thousands and thousands of miles for decades. 5 decades of war making with America, and they protected these items so that we would have this way of life. So coming here to Butte and camping for 4 months is nothing compared to what our ancestors did. Fighting Congress is nothing compared to what our ancestors did. Trying to raise money, trying to raise support, trying to raise the consciousness of America, Meade County, South Dakota. All of these entities, our way of life predates all of these. Our way of life predates Columbus. So doing what little we're doing here, the sacrifices we're making to do this is nothing compared to what our ancestors went through. And we're all very proud to be here. We're very proud of what our ancestors did to protect and preserve those 2 items so that we can be here today, living our way of life on these sacred mountains when the sun rises through these star constellations.
So, you know, we were fighting against the United States government for our freedom. And they're all about this song I'm going to sing now, titled Custer Died for Your Sin. For the lies that were spoken, for the blood we have spilled, for the treaties that were broken, for the leaders you have still. Custer died for your sin. Custer died for your sin. Now a new day must begin. Custer died for your sin, for the truth that you pollute, for the life you have cost, for the good you prostitute, and for all that we have lost. Custer died for your sin. Custer died for your sin. Now a new day must begin. Custer died for your sin. Whoopie. Wow, the sacredness of this mountain is a purpose for anybody to come anytime and seek to speak with God. And in the silence is the voice of God. We are trying to teach the world about this spirituality. And the sad thing about people in this world who feel they are good in their conscience don't know enough about how to walk on this life in the spiritual manner, even if they are Christian. Because as most people know, in the Bible, it doesn't mention Mother Earth at all in the Bible. It says nothing about that. And that's a whole concept of where our religion is with Mother Earth first. Then everything else, all the teachings evolve around that. And being caretakers of Mother Earth is so important.
Good afternoon, my relatives. This is 87.9 Motto Ray Live Radio, free radio under the base of Butte. We have with us Riders of the Storm.
Riders in the Storms was a dream, Gary Silt, and along with a few other elders that he consulted with to fulfill this dream. And we've always understood that the horse nation, Shunka would carry us to these places. We've always supported these different rides, the different issues that take place in Indian country. And it's sad. I guess the saddest part of riding is knowing that the hardship that these riders have to go through. Many of us, myself, that come from Canada to support these young guys, they didn't want me to ride. They keep kicking me off the horse. They said I was too old. But anyways, aside from that, it's a spiritual journey. And for some of these young men, it's their first time or their second time, and they're still learning. And they're the ones that are going to carry this message. And one elder once told us that when you travel on horse, you bring a strong message. Because that was the way our ancestors traveled with the Shunka Wakam. And to suffer, to make that sacrifice. It's so easy to jump in a vehicle, go someplace. But to make that ultimate sacrifice, to ride a horse, thousands of miles, hundreds of miles even, is quite a feat. For these young men especially. Some of us have a lot of experience in rides. And what really we pray about is we have a lot of people that say they're traditional people, that they believe in their traditional ways. But those are words that are easy to say. Anybody can say these words. The time to do the traditional things, where are they? The ones that speak like that. I don't mean to offend anybody, but when you sacrifice your life, whether it be sun dancing, Hamadecha, or rides on like this here, when you make that ultimate sacrifice, these are the real warriors. These are the warriors that go out and do things for the people. And we have to really look at that word. I think that's a Washicho word, traditional. But we use that today. We never used those kind of words a long time ago. The old people don't have a word for tradition. They have certain words for that, like spirituality has a certain word and so on. And these are spiritual journeys that bring us to these places. And we talk about the sacredness of these places. And yet, where are the warriors that should be here, defending what they say they believe in? Where are our great leaders today? Where are our chiefs that stand up? Where are the warriors that stand up? There's so few of them, and yet so many talk about these things and do nothing about it.
His name was Vine Deloria. Well, his intellect was so great that he spoke about these things, about how even Christians, while good thinking as they may be, have not taken the earth, Mother Earth, as seriously as they should. And that we have to speak to them now about going even further now to take care of Mother Earth first. And a lot of them say, well, we do anyway. Yeah, but the only way we're going to get out of all this mess is spiritually connecting ourselves back to Mother Earth. We, for thousands of years, have been praying to the spirits and the Creator in a certain way. One of the ways we pray to God is through the tree. And that's a very constant thing every day. If a Christian prays to God through the Bible, we pray to God through the tree. That was the old way in Europe long ago, and each white tribe in Europe, you pray to God through the tree, and they were called pagans. They were given a bad connotation, but that was the real connection to earth. That's how the Christmas tree gets in the house. And they don't know where that comes from because they called it Christ Mass Tree. Christ had nothing to do with it. And that's where they warped. They warped the whole thinking of earth and took the thinking away from the tree and put God's image there. I mean, Jesus Christ, Christmas, Christ. Christ wasn't the only Son of God in our point of view. We are all sons and daughters of God. And Jesus was a great holy man, and he healed people. We can all do that too if we our medicine men do that here. But it really isn't the medicine man that heals. It's the way he prays to the spirit world that does it. And it's the spirits that heal. Nowadays, even Western medicine doctors are beginning to find out that that's true. You need to deal with the spirit of the person in order to have healing completely. So when the spirit is off, you have to reach the spirit world to look at that person. And that's how we call the spirit world every day. We call the spirit world here to look at us. And when we do it individually, we call the spirit to look at the individual, and that's the healing there. That's our way. And then we use the herbs from the tree again. I had a Catholic priest ask me at a university, why do you pray to God through the tree? I tell him, next time you have an apple or orange, remember where it comes from. Next time you get sick and you need medicines, where does it come from? But the roots and herbs and underbarks of trees have medicines. And next time you take a deep breath of oxygen, where does that come from? And next time you exhale, what spirit needs that exhale? The tree. So we have a common destiny with the tree. That's why we shouldn't cut them down. We need to save the trees. So there we go.
We need to take action on these papal bulls. The things they do, anytime they take Indian land, they use these papal bulls against us. When they took the Black Hills, they use these papal bulls. Anything today in America, they use this against indigenous people. It's the main thing they use against us. And a lot of us didn't know that or didn't understand that. And I'm just getting to understand that how they use these against us to take our land. And I'd like to call Chris up here. Chris could explain to us just how these were used to take land in a case that they used this to take Indian land. So we need to understand how these papal bulls are used to take our land. And as the chief said, we need to get down to some action. We want to rescind these. We want them to no longer look as indigenous people as less than human beings. That's what we want to do. That's what we need to get done here today. Okay, Chris.
In law school, we study property rights our very first year. And one of the first cases we read about is called Johnson versus McIntosh. It was decided in 1823 by Chief Justice Marshall. This case invokes what they call the Doctrine of Discovery, which is based off of ancient history of Europe and the papal bulls and what came out of England known as royal charters established by the kings. At first, these papal bulls were used to colonize and fight against the Islamic nations in the Middle East, which they called Moors and Saracens. The fundamental basis of the papal bulls is that the Christian nations needed resources, and they needed a legal justification and spiritual justification to fight for them. So what the Pope Alexander decided was to say that anyone who wasn't Christian did not deserve to own land, did not deserve to act upon it and benefit from its benefits from all the land. Instead, they felt that anyone who was not Christian had no land rights and that they must become Christian before they could participate in society. This doctrine made its way over to the Western Hemisphere during what's called in American schools the Age of Discovery, when the Portuguese sailed to South America and when Columbus sailed to Central America in search of a passage to the East Indies. They brought this doctrine and said that any indigenous people, just like the Moors and Saracens, had no ownership of land. In fact, they were less than human because they were not Christian. And only by being Christian and participating in Christian society could they be enriched in the same way as the Europeans view enrichment, which is to rob things out of the land like gold and other resources to make luxuries. This doctrine came to the United States of America in 1823 of Chief Justice Marshall in a series of 3 cases known as the Indian Trilogy. It culminated in the case of Johnson versus McIntosh, where Chief Justice Marshall stated, based on the Royal Charter to John Cabot, which dates 1496, based on this Royal English Charter, John Cabot discovered and occupied the American land for the first time, even though indigenous people had lived and used the land for centuries. Chief Justice Marshall established a hierarchy of property rights in which the indigenous way of using the land was called occupancy and didn't carry full occupying rights. Instead, John Cabot discovered the land because he made improvements on it. This legal doctrine established capitalism over any communal type of ownership, in that it said improvements are the typical Western way of development, which is why you see cities like New York City now. Many say that the papal bulls and the royal charters are dead law because they're over 500 years old. Many say that the Doctrine of Discovery in Johnson versus McIntosh is dead law because it's 200 years old. But in every case of property rights, when you're looking for a first owner, they cite improvements and the Doctrine of Discovery and directly invoke the case of Johnson versus McIntosh to this day.
I just wanted to come let the people know that we just got out of a meeting with the law enforcement, the local law enforcement, the highway patrol. We had a meeting because on the 4th, which is Friday, we're planning a march into Sturgis. So they're really worried about that march and what we're going to be doing, so they came here to negotiate the march with us. So we decided that on Friday we're going to have a rally, a protest rally at the courthouse in Sturgis. We're going to meet there at noon. We're going to meet here about 10 o'clock and we're going to go into town from here. We'll take all our cars. They have a ball field that's about 1 block away from the courthouse. That's where we'll park our cars. We'll make sure all the elders are dropped off. We'll go park our cars, and then we're going to have a short march from the ball field to the courthouse with our staffs and all the people. And when we get up there, we'll be there from approximately noon to 3 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock, we're going to all march down to our cars and come out here to Highway 34 where it meets 79, which is this road that comes this way. Hold on, at the courthouse, I just wanted to say we're having a pipe ceremony first, then our rally, and then we'll come back out here to 79. When we get back out here on 79, all the people, we're going to take the road and march back out here to our camp. Now this is the first time that the law enforcement has ever letting anybody do this. So we're really lucky that we're here, that they allowed us to do this without us having to go to jail. Because we was going to do it anyway, but... And so anyway, we'll meet out here probably approximately 3 o'clock. We'll get down in town, meet out here. So much cars. That's the day that the concerts are starting. So it's probably going to take us an hour just to get from town to 79. And at 79, we'll regroup. We'll march back out here with all our caravan of cars behind us. Now the reason we're doing that is we want to stop the traffic on this road. We want to stop these bikers from coming up to the Jay Allen's bar and also to this bar who's right here next to us. So that's the reason we're marching on 79, is we're really gonna, that traffic will get really congested there, and we'll probably end up stopping it for a few hours. So that's why we chose to take 79 at that time. So I just wanted to come out here and share with all my relatives and let you know what was going on at the meeting. And I know many of you probably saw the law enforcement come in there with us.
I'd like to say, you know, to everyone out there that, you know how Mount Olives is to the Jews, that's how Bear Butte is to our nations here, you know. And, you know, we believe in prayer. We believe in the spiritual, the supernatural, and we believe in our traditions and our values, and we know that these things can save the world, our teachings. And we hope that everyone out there knows that most of us here, you know, it's been 500 years of oppression, repression, in a system that's been unjust, and we live in an unjust order. So we're trying, and we're not going to ever give up. I know these young guys won't, from breaking those bondages, those shackles of that hold us back from being completely free, the way we felt on those horses, the way we felt with our ancestors and the spirits out there that guided our way. That's the most important thing. So Bear Butte means so much to everyone, and I want to just thank everyone here for being here and having the courage to really defend what this continent is all about, this Turtle Island is all about, and that's to be a free people. And I believe that soon our liberation is going to come. There is a revolution.
I yearn to be on the prairie once more. Amongst the long grass and the wild stones, hair blowing gently in live beyond the fences laid down by white men, where the earth she breathes and talks to me, yeah, holding my hand as she whispers. Remember who you are. Let go of who you're not. Remember who you are. Let go of who you're not. Remember who you are. Let go of who you're not. Let go of who you're not. Let go of who you're not. Let go of who you're not.
I just got done finishing sponsoring the summit at Butte, August 1, 2, 3, 4. It was a summit of nations. It was 28 different nations came. Carrie Dan from the Navajo, Wolverine, the Mi'kmaq from Canada, the people from Florida, Arizona, even Guatemala came. And we all talked, and it wasn't a hostile meeting, it was a real pleasant general meeting. And all the nations across the world have similar struggles. And so one of the things I wanted to bring to your attention first was we're declared as heathen savages in this country. We want your help to resend that document that declares us as such. Because I don't feel like I'm a savage, although sometimes after 9 p.m. I kind of act like one maybe. But there's a document called the Intercessoral Papal Bull by the Pope. And that was May 3rd, 1492. Now, I'm trying to legalize industrial hemp as an agricultural crop. It's a fine plant, grows in arid, desert-like conditions on the reservations, and it could make us a lot of money. We estimate $490 an acre return yield at the end of the 90-day cycle. It's a cash crop. Right now, today, we're leasing our lands out for $3 an acre. And the whole country's against us on that. Nobody stood up. Where's your trust responsibility, Secretary? You were supposed to uphold certain treaty obligations. Well, we'd like you to step up to the bat and talk to the Pope, say you need to present that document. And the reason I quote that is because every time we go to the Supreme Court, they use that Doctrine of Discovery to rule against the nations, each and every time. And it has to stop. We have to be declared even, equal. We're human beings. Standing Bear already set that standard back in his case, where he created the habeas corpus. But we're just tired of being second-class citizens, and we don't want to live that way no more. We need a better relationship. The Bureau hasn't worked for us, it's got dead ears. We need to set up a different protocol, because that has not worked. The reservation I come from is a prime example of that. You need to respect our culture, our people want their language. There was a survey done by University of Phoenix, Arizona last December, and they asked people, indigenous people all across the United States, 2 questions. How often do you worship? Well, 90% of our people say they worship more than 3 times daily. 90%. So then they asked them, in what form do you worship? Well, those 90% said we worship in the Western Christian way. And then there's a footnote on the bottom of the balance of the 10%. Criminals, convicts, and holdouts. Well, Secretary, I don't want to be categorized with the criminals. I'm a holdout. I never was a Christian. I have my own way of worship. I have some sacred sites across the Black Hills that we need access to, go through. Butte is one of these. They're building biker bars. They're advertising right at the base of our butte, right where we pray, we worship, we vision quest. That's so sacred to us. We have no more integrity left with these bars just popping up at the base of our hill. These people are desecrating our sacred ground. Now, Secretary, if we came to your church and had those similar activities right outside your church, I'm sure you would be offended. And we want you to be offended with us because you hold our trust responsibility in the palm of your hand. With the stroke of a pen, you can assist us. I don't know how, but you got some high-paid staff. I'm sure they could research this, and you could come in and intervene for us. Nobody's listening to us. Again, we're talking to those deaf ears. The Bureau of Indian Affairs has wooden ears. It's not addressing our needs.